Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about for loops, while loops, and nested loops. I'm going to incorporate one of those or any of those in my picture method. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So now I'm going to go ahead and for my first method, I'm going to declare a pixel array, and I'm going to have 9 elements. I'm going to declare an array length that will hold the value of 9. And now I have a pixel object that will refer to a pixel object later on. And let's just look at our for loop. So now I declare an integer I equals to 0. This is our loop condition right here. As long as I is less than the array length, the loop body will execute. After executing the loop body, we have a counter. I will iterate by 2. So as long as this condition right here is satisfied, this loop body right here will execute. So it's very important that we have a counter that will at some point make this valid statement false so that our loop will stop. Otherwise we're going to have an infinite loop. In this case, the loop body executes. We have pixel that will refer to pixel array I, which is 0, and this will help us iterate through the elements of a pixel array. So I at 0 will equal to this element right here in our picture or our array, and we're going to go ahead and copy the red value, store it to retrieve the red value, store that to red value, and then set blue value to red value. So now we have this weird pink color right here. So now our array length iterates to 2 by 2. So this means that the condition is still valid. Yes. Array length is 9, and the loop body executes again, and the same thing happens. Red value is copied to blue value. Now we get black. The loop body executes as long as I is less than array length. So array length in this example is 9. Iteration for I is 2. So the loop occurs 3 more times. And what happens after 8? So after 8, I will equal to 10. And therefore array length is, the loop condition is not true. The loop stops and the body will not execute. So in this case, our picture method, or that part of our code at least for this picture method here, is that it will stop after 8. This is very important because if your loop does not stop and you're going to try to access array length 10, for example, it'll try, there will be an error in your code, and it will stop and it will not execute. So now our next part of the code right here is the while loop, and we will try to refer to the odd pixels of the element. Odd elements of the pixel array. So now this is our loop counter right here. We declare it outside of the loop. We start at 1. Our loop condition is that the same thing. An index will be less than array length. So 1 is less than array length, so the body will execute again. Now we have our iterator right here, our counter. So the same thing, we want to avoid the error of having infinite loops. So now we start at 1. Blue value is 80. That means red value will be 80 under this code. And same thing, iterate counter by 2. Now index will equal to 3. So condition is still 3, is still valid. 3 is less than 9, so loop body executes. And now our pixel array will point to pixel array 3. The same thing happens all over again, and this will be valid until index is equal to 9. So at that point, 9 is not less than 9. So the body does not execute. Loop exits, and this is so we've just edited the odd pixels. In this case, I'm going to run that code, that method, and this is what we get. So as you can see, odd, we can see that 232, we can see that the blue values were copied to red when the pixel is odd at 115. And at 116 we see that the red value was copied to blue. So you have that interchanging effect. Okay. Also the condition could be other things. So I can show you a different loop right here, a while loop. Say we have a pixel array, and the condition is that the red value is greater than 100, and blue value is greater than 100, and green value is greater than 100. And so if this condition is satisfied, then the loop body executes, and it will turn that pixel to red. So say we have these 4 pixels right here. We are going to iterate for the first one. Index is equal to 0 initially, and so the condition is true, it's valid, since these values are greater than 100. So now the loop body will execute, this will turn into red, index will iterate by 1, and now we look at this pixel right here, same thing happens, the condition is valid until we hit 3 where blue is 0. So the condition stops, and that's it. The loop, the condition is not valid, that means the loop will stop. So we're going to get a picture like this. Now I can show you a picture method that does exactly that. And there you go. So once it encountered the black, basically my hair, the loop stopped. So there you go. You can see that at this point red, green, and blue are all less than 100. So the loop stops, and my hair does not get converted to, or that pixel does not get converted to red. So now we dive into, we'll take a look into nested loops. You can have for nested loops, you can have another loop in the body of a loop, basically loopception. You can access a pixel position without an array in this case. So let's get into it. Now so same thing, we have a pixel object that we can make as an object reference later. We can now we have to declare width and height in this case, and width will hold the pixel width of the object, or a number of pixels width wise, and for height the same thing. Let's dive into the loop. So for the outer loop, as long as x, we have integer x right here equals to 0, as long as x is less than width, the condition, and width in this case, say this is our picture and these are the pixels, we have width as 3, means this is valid. So now our condition is valid, so now we can dive into the inner loop, which is the same thing. Y equals to 0, y is less than height, and height in this case is 3. So this is valid, that means that we can get into the loop body. So now we can, if assign pixel, it can refer to pixel at x, y. So in this case, x, y, 0, 0. It will be this pixel right here, and we'll set red to 200, green and blue to 20. So we'll basically set it to red. So now after the loop body executes, this will iterate y by 1, and 1 is less than height is still valid. So now we have pixel referring to 0, 1. And the same thing happened, the loop body executes, this will turn into red. And also the same thing with 0, 2. So now this whole thing ends right here, the inner loop. We go back to our outer loop, and it says iterate x by 2, and now x will equal to 2. So that is a valid statement. So 2 less than 3 is still valid. So now our inner loop iterates again. So this is important right here, y will restart to 0, and now y will equal to 0, so the statement is valid again, and now pixel will refer to 20, so since the value of 2 got updated. So now the inner loop will iterate again, and we get all these red streaks right here. So now I used that for my red stripes picture method, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you how that looks like. There you go. You got red stripes. We can zoom in a little bit and see that, yeah. So there you go.